let's talk big boy facts, okay? So, for those of you who do not know, I posted a twit longer today. It took me a while to write this up. It's like 7,000 to 8,000 words, right? Or letters at least. It's a big document, okay? Titled "Hippy Dippy is over for now." And for those of you who just want the short end of it, before I get into all the explanation, I am formally canceling Hippy Dippy, as in the roundtable, the championship, and the recruitment show. All of it is canceled. If Danabo decides, independent of me, to continue the recruitment show, that's up to him. But as of right now, both the championship, the roundtable, and the recruitment show is all being canceled. So that means all Hippy Dippy programming is being closed down, and all staff is being let go, and all scheduled Hippy Dippy events are hereby canceled. And guests who were scheduled to be on Hippy Dippy programming this Friday, namely Wicked Supreme, Stardust, obviously we're not having one. And I know for a lot of people this might come as a shock, but I do want to say, again, for the people who don't want to watch me talk about the entirety of this issue, I would like to relaunch Hippy Dippy one day. I can't say for sure I'm going to do it. I can't guarantee it to you, but I would like to relaunch it one day once I'm, in a place where I can do it more safely and I can do it more consistently, and that I can change a lot about it, because I'm not happy with the space right now when it comes to hosting Hippy Dippy, and I'm not happy with Hippy Dippy itself, and even certain things that are up to specifically me, like moderation style. And if I was to relaunch Hippy Dippy, I would want to relaunch it the best it can be. That means the best when it comes to moderation, the best when it comes to the guests that we're booking, the best when it comes to the rules set, the format, how many guests we have on each show, yada yada. Okay, so that's the short of it. Now let's get into the long of it, and I can drag you through the whole process here. And we're going to just go through the twit longer. I'll read it, and I'll also add personal notes for stuff that I might have left out, and answer questions from chat for anybody who's curious, because I understand that a lot of you guys are, dedicated Hippy Dippy fans, that many of you wouldn't know about my existence if it wasn't for the show. If people ask about me, most people just know me as the panel guy. So obviously this is a big thing for me, because for a lot of people this is all I do. I remember there was this guy, I think is Papa Gut or something, bald dude, big beard, big gut, and he didn't know anything about me. All he said is, I know he does panels. And so that's what I'm known for. So obviously this is a big move for me. Definitely considering that Hippy Dippy's still the #1 rated, when it comes to viewership at least, and consistency of every week, political debate show on Twitch. It's been like that for well over a year now. So let me go a little bit into the process of why I've decided this. Okay? So we're going to go through the twit longer. I'm going to add some notes. Okay? If you have any questions, you can at me. But I want to keep this semi-serious, because, I obviously care about this a lot. This is a show that I've put over 2 years of my life into. And I know that makes it sound really serious, but I've put a lot of work into the show over the last 2 years. It's not only me that's put this work into it, but it's also people like Danabo, every guest I've ever had on, other people like Lanuski, who's been involved in projects, or Ramble, or people who've guest hosted like Vosh and Villy the Fridge, and any other number of people that we've had involved in the program, like James at Modern Day Debates. So I want to make sure that we kind of, I want there to be something on the record as to why this is happening, considering that, we've been, this has been such a presence in the space for so long, right? At 20, that's 10% of your life. God, that's a sad way to think about it. Okay. Hippy Dippy is over for now. The Hippy Dippy Roundtable has been going on for around 2 years now. Over 2 years. Hippy Dippy Recruitment's actually about to hit the 2-year mark. It has had many offshoots, like the Hippy Dippy Recruitment Show, The Hippy Dippy Recruitment Show is a show where we bring on new streamers and, give them the ropes of the debate space, get them contacts with other people on the show, and, give them a chance to, like, show what they got. And then maybe if they're really good, we'll put them on the main show. If they don't have what it takes, then we'll have them on again and again and again until hopefully one day they can meet those standards. If they don't, that's the breaks. But that's why a Hippy Dippy Recruitment Show exists. It's basically our developmental brand, like the WWE as NXT, for example, or AEW as Ring of Honor. A short-lived dating show. We had one dating show. It was a queer dating show for Pride Month last year. And my personal favorite, the Hippy Dippy Championship. Doesn't need any introduction. It is my favorite child. It is my original creation. I'm very happy with it. And I was thinking about this today while I was closing the book on this, at least for now. Maybe there'll be another volume on this in the future. Again, relaunch is always possible. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about the territory days of wrestling, and I realized that with the type of viewership we actually got on the Hippy Dippy Championship, Hippy Dippy Roundtable, if we tallied up all the views we got over the years, both live and on YouTube, we probably got as many views as a small territory show did back during the territory days of wrestling in like the middle of like the Midwest or somewhere, which is pretty cool. In a way, I ran my own wrestling promotion for a bit, I got that off my bucket list. Anyway, let's keep going. During this time, we have been a constant presence on Fridays for those who are politically inclined on Twitch. As other debate shows came and went, and many went head to head with us for the Friday slot, Hippy Dippy always stood the test of time. As the times changed, so did we. We implemented new rules, tried new formats, got new guests, and did our best to improve the show. This culminated in the Hippy Dippy Roundtable being the #1 political debate show on Twitch for well over a year. I put 2 years of work into the show to accomplish this, but it was also the work of our amazing scheduler Danabo, who deserves more praise for this accomplishment than anyone. It exceeded its original spiritual predecessor, the Big Brain Podcast, in both size and amount of episodes, so I would also like to take this moment to give a formal "I told you so" to Mindwaves. Didn't think I could do it. Fuck you. Love you, buddy. But there comes a time when someone needs to read the writing on the wall. The amount of Twitch political streamers who have retired, been banned, or slowly faded away have continued to increase. While this could be dealt with by an ever-expanding list of new streamers we would bring in through the Hippy Dippy Recruitment Show, the qualities of the new recruits leave much to be desired at times. It takes time for them to figure out the ropes. Multiple appearances on the recruitment show over a very this takes multiple appearances on the recruitment show over a relatively long time span. This becomes an issue when you need guests now, and the old guests that used to bring large audiences with them are no longer available. This also messes up the symbiotic relationship that Hippy Dippy recruitment guests have with old established guests who have communities behind them. The way it has always worked was that new streamers, once they had learned the ropes on the recruitment show, would go on Hippy Dippy with established streamers. This allows for new streamers to have access to the audiences that the established streamers already have, putting them in front of more viewers who might then go to the new streamer's channel depending on how well they do. The networking opportunities are obvious. This also helps the established streamer get content, find new up-and-coming streamers to work with, and put themselves in front of new viewers to a lesser extent. So when you find yourself in a situation where you have less and less established streamers to rely on, this means your show is going to have a disproportionate amount of new streamers on any program we put together on average. While it's awesome to platform so many new faces in the space at the same time, it also means that those new streamers will be in front of less and less people because other established streamers aren't there to bring viewers with them. This creates the strange situation where the more small streamers you platform on one show at the same time, the less it helps the small streamers. This is why I had always wanted there to be 1 to 2 new streamers on a show with 6 to 7 established streamers on as well. It was a good balance that satisfied everyone. Sadly, this balance has been upset with less and less established streamers to pull from. Okay, So this is the first part I want to talk about. And so now I can answer questions on this before we move on to the next part, which talks about Danabo having problems within his family, which, makes it hard for him to work right now. A lot of other stuff. So let's go through a little bit of this. The first thing, I've seen a few people asking about when what I mean by like, I think while this could be dealt with by an ever-expanding list of new streamers we would bring in through Hippy Dippy recruitment show, the quality of new recruits leaves much to be desired. So what I mean by this is that it is getting harder and harder to find people on the Hippy Dippy recruitment show who, after one or two like performances, were like, this guy's got it. He understands what this is. He's a constant viewer of the program. He gets what we're doing here. We can take him from the recruitment show and just put him, bam, right on the main show. We're getting less and less of those people and more people who almost need to be like, not like, basically who are going to need multiple like appearances on the recruitment show before they get it, or before they develop like the necessary banter to be able to talk with 7 people at the same time. And so it turns something that might be just 1 month to get a person onto your program because they go on a recruitment show once, then again, and that's every Sunday. And that turns it into multiple months to get them on the main show, to get them ready for the main show. And so this is also hurt further by the fact that we have less new recruits to pull from than before. That's not to say we don't have enough new recruits. We just have less. So we have less chances to even find those people who are, they got it immediately. We can put them on the main show. This is while at the same time, the established streamers that we've relied on for so long, that have been like ever present in the community, whether it be Bastiat back in the day, whether it be, of course, Destiny is like one that comes up a lot. Vosh, which is somebody who isn't gone, but is somebody who comes on less and less. I don't think he's really that as much interested in this type of format these days. Denims, who used to come on more often, but people just stop, wanting to come on. They've either had their fill, they don't want to come on anymore. They've either stopped streaming, they have kind of faded away, they are banned, so we can't even show them on Twitch, or they've just gone off and started doing other things. Like Denims has completely left this space, for example. And we have had examples where we try to bring in new streamers, and they're not really interested in this anymore, or they're not interested with how Hippy Dippy is currently. And so we just have a problem. We don't have a problem getting people to be on the show. It's just that the people we're getting on the show are all new people who have been viewers for forever, who are finally becoming streamers, but they don't have it. And it's going to take time for them to get it. And we just don't have the old guests we used to rely on to like have an audience to bring in front of the platform to like prop up these new people and try to give them the audience they got. That's how streamers like Heem got started. It was by the recruitment show through this method. RGR actually helped get started through the recruitment show in this method. A lot of streamers got started on the recruitment show through this method. So it's sad, man. It's we just don't have the same people to pull from, whether it be the new people, or the old guard, which we relied on their audiences in order to supplement the new guard and get new streamers like him. So we're just not in that position anymore. Again, we have enough people to book. It's not a problem that can be solved by you personally, whoever you are right now, DMing me and saying, Dylan, if you need somebody to keep on the show, I love Hippy Dippy. I love it. I love it too. Let me on the show. I'll be the guy. That's not the problem. The problem is the amount of effort we put into this reaps less for the new guests if we don't have established guests to come on and bring the audiences with them so they can see the new people and be like, I like that new streamer. I want to jump in their chat. All it becomes is basically my audience. And as much as I love to share my audience, it's just not enough to go around and not enough to warrant the amount of effort that we're putting into the program. But this also, like, maybe we could surmount these odds too. If it was just this, we could figure it out. We could always try to just dig deeper into YouTube, since YouTube is an endless pit of content and streamers. But there's other issues that we're facing as well, right? There's also the issue of Danabo, the person who books Hippy Dippy and Hippy Dippy Recruitment and the Hippy Dippy Championship, having personal issues that he has to deal with right now. His mother has been very sick, and he has had to take a lot of time away to deal with that. It has been hard on him, and I don't have any interest in keeping him away from his family in order to book Hippy Dippy. With our best booker, who has always been the center of our operation, out of action for not all the time, but for a decent amount of the time recently in his life, it's been rough, to put it lightly, booking the show. If you want to donate to help him out, which I would say again, we wouldn't have ever really had Hippy Dippy as we know it today if it wasn't for him. It would have ended a lot sooner if it wasn't for him, unironically. Whether it be when I attempted, or whether it be when I just flew over the country, it wouldn't be where it is. We wouldn't have Hippy Dippy as we know it. And for that reason, I would ask you guys to just at least consider giving him a buck or two, okay? He needs it right now. Let's keep going. This goes without saying, but me being in Ukraine has also made it difficult to manage Hippy Dippy as well. The internet connection in many of the places I've been staying at is understandably not great. The majority of my attention has been on the war since I arrived here. This includes booking interviews, traveling, safety precautions, etc. With this being my main focus, it is hard for me to give a lot of attention to booking, managing, and improving Hippy Dippy. So Danabo has been picking up the slack, which means with his mother's health crisis, basically his mother's health crisis then has more of an impact on the show because I'm too busy with the Ukraine stuff to book this, and so Danabo's helping me out in booking stuff, but then Danabo has a health crisis with his mother, and so then it's hard to manage that. And we can try to have Geek make up the slack and stuff like that, but Geek has never been the main booking guy, right? This isn't really what Geek does. Geek doesn't book people. Geek is his stuff is graphic design, editing, stuff like that. So yeah. He's just not the person to do it. Anonymous Gifter, thank you for gifting to blah blah blah. I appreciate it. It is truly what I'm doing right now. After this is all done, I'll turn on donation sounds and everything after. Both me and Danabo have also, and this is one of the bigger reasons, if I'm going to be for real with you guys. Both me and Danabo have also just lost our love of the game. It's not a secret that I've been rethinking my place online and what exactly I want to do moving forward. While I'm still interested in hosting debates in the future, the current state of Hippy Dippy is not something I have a passion for. And I read the comments, I notice the chatters, they notice it. This has led to me paying less attention to the debates and to the quality of my usually strict moderation style, this making that quality go down. I don't want to drag out Hippy Dippy just to do it, get the weekly views, and then leave the lasting impression that Hippy Dippy was a low-effort project. It wasn't. I want those who have stuck with the show through the last 2 years to not watch me squeeze every second of content I can out of this project, even at the expense of quality. A lot of people got their start as a streamer on Hippy Dippy, or were introduced to Twitch or online politics through Hippy Dippy, and I want them to have a more positive impression of the show when they think about it in the future. This goes as well for all of the bookers, editors, and guests who made the show possible through all of this time. So for this, it's very simple. I am not very excited by the current state of Hippy Dippy. I feel like I am running through the same guests with less variety in our guests, meaning the diversity of the opinions we're hearing or the diversity of the debates we're hearing is getting less and less. We're watching the same people interact over and over and over again. We're not getting, and this is made worse by the fact that we're not getting the new recruits, really. We're not getting, and we're working off of a smaller list of people more and more as more streamers leave the space, move to YouTube, get banned on Twitch, any number of things. Fade away, just quit. Bastiat's an example of that, right? It makes all of these issues that much it makes the issues even harder. It makes the issue more difficult for me. It makes me feel less interested now they have less people to Pokemon battle against each other. I also feel like the topics have gotten a little stale. While every once in a while I'll bump into a new news topic that is fun and exciting, I feel like, again, we're watching the same people discuss the same things over and over. Personally, I need to find a way to do the same thing new again and again, or find new topics and new combinations of people to interact, because currently it's the same people interacting over the same topics again and again with not much change. And I understand that our news cycle regularly hits the same topics again and again, so we discuss it again and again, but from different angles. But we need to find a way to make it entertaining again, make it so it's something that people want to watch again, because currently that's not the case. See, right there, do a panel on veganism. Point proven immediately. I also, like, there's a lot of equality issues I have with the Hippy Dippy show at the moment. Not only is it the guests, not only is it the topics, but it's also the format. I am not a huge fan of the format right now. I would like to see the format change. I would like to see more cards in the future instead of just instead of just 8 people. I think we should have rediscussed moving from 8 people to 6 people, possibly, if not changing the whole format entirely, so we have a main event and an undercard, say a 1v1 for the main event and a tag team match for the undercard that is 2v2. We should implement more Raj Royale style episodes, making, like, jazzing it up a bit, bringing in more experts, because honestly, I like the lawyer show that we did last week, at least the first half, to some degree. Even if it's going to be difficult to get experts to engage on the type of platform that we have, maybe it won't be. Who knows? Anyway, let's continue. We're almost done. So with all of this in mind, I am officially canceling Hippy Dippy for the time being. There are a lot of other issues I would want to address before I would relaunch Hippy Dippy. The size of the show has been a consistent issue of contention, as the idea of shrinking the guest list from 8 to 6 guests per show has been talked about, so it'd be easier to manage. I've seen your comments, I've seen your chat messages. When I asked for recommendations yesterday, I was legitimately paying attention because I wanted to know exactly what you guys would want if I was to relaunch the show. And I've seen your comments way before this asking for there to be less guests as well. We've tried it before, it didn't really work well, but we didn't do it a ton. So maybe if we tried it again with a different moderation style, we could make it work. This would mean that less people would be invited, and therefore less communities get involved in the show every roundtable. This is the downside, of course. There's also the idea of having shows more like wrestling cards, having a main event and an undercard every week. Could even implement this more in depth with a ranking system for the Hippy Dippy Championship. This is what originally was supposed to happen, but it just never got implemented because we never launched the website. I like this idea a lot. There's also the idea of making intro and outro shorter through the use of chess timers. Really need to deal with this issue of people hogging up all the speaking time. There is also the issue many of us streamers have been thinking about, and that's Twitch versus YouTube. I've been considering streaming Hippy Dippy on YouTube, and I won't go too in depth about the consideration process right now. Hippy Dippy is also in need of a major rebrand, seeing as that we've been using generally the same assets for the last 2 years. I also want to work on a guidebook for hosting dumb internet debates, but that's a separate project for all you future nerdy Vince McMahons. Thanks for the amazing 2 years. I shall return, said by General MacArthur in 1942 after making a tactical retreat from the Philippines. Okay, so that's me getting it all out. I took a while to work on this. I spent basically the whole day working on this. I almost didn't do it. It was kind of, it's difficult. Because with Hippy Dippy, there's a fear I have, and I'll be very honest about this fear. There's a fear that Hippy Dippy was obviously one of the most successful projects I ever did, right? And as I'm moving on to other successful projects, hopefully there'll be successful projects. I don't want to be presumptuous. There's a fear that this was the thing that I did, you know, and I was good at, and that the other things won't succeed as well, or that this was my big money earner and me giving up this is going to hit my income in a certain way, and it's going to really affect my streaming career, et cetera, like that, right? So, like, I have that personal fear, but I'd rather just deal with that mentally and just take the risks that I'm taking to, you know, do content that's different with this whole Ukraine stuff. That I just finished all the voiceover for the video. I know it's taking so long, and I'm very sorry. It's just obviously I want it to be the best it can be. Um, I'd rather take those risks than watch Hippy Dippy just become like a shell of its former self and not what I originally envisioned, and just something I'm doing every week for the check, which is what it felt like it was becoming. And I even said that a few times behind closed doors with Danabo and Geek, like, dude, why are we even doing this? Like, I feel like I don't care. Like, this lineup isn't that good, or it'd be like we'd get like a lot of last second cancellations and have to make replacements, and those last second cancellations would make everything 10 times more difficult when we're over here in Ukraine and Danabo's dealing with his health stuff with his mom, and those last second cancellations made it nearly impossible to sometimes like host these shows, and it kind of sapped all the energy out of it, you know. So what Dan was talking about, basically, yeah, a little bit. Branch out a little, return to Hippy Dippy whenever you feel like. I mean, I want to return to it. If I do or not, I mean, that's always in the air. Nothing you do in the future needs to be compared to it. Just let your new projects be their own thing. Easier said than done, I suppose. Love you, buddy. Hit me up if you need anything. Thanks, Freems. Freems was one of the original hosts of Roundtables on Political Twitch. Unironically, he was one of the people who showed me the ropes. If it wasn't for Freems, I wouldn't have my streaming career, probably. Unironically, I wouldn't have my career if it wasn't for Freems. Like, he literally loaned me his Whereby account so I could host the show. There's so many unseen people that I wouldn't have succeeded without. Freems, probably, maybe to a smaller extent, Leon Cyphers probably would be counted in that group. Mindwaves, obviously, being a huge inspiration for modern Hippy Dippy. Definitely early Hippy Dippy was heavily inspired by Mindwaves' Big Brain podcast. Like 100%. Yeah. So, okay. We need to bring back streamers chilling Discord playing Minecraft and arguing meta. Those were the days. I know how hard it is. Couldn't imagine it on your scale. Yeah, no, dude, this is oh, do you mean ending the show, or do you mean managing it? Also, I finished it. If you have any questions, this would be the time. This is a little, you know, it's this is a weird moment, you know? This is a very weird moment. Very strange moment, it feels like. It feels like a big moment, at least for me. It feels like a really make it or break it moment. Like, I could either do really well right now and redirect myself at full attention to my new content and succeed, or just completely plummet and just burn into ashes. Will you still do one-on-one debates for Fridays? Danabo and I have talked about it. We still want to do something for Fridays for the time being, because obviously I'm still going to stream on Friday. So if we could do something at the time being, that'd be cool, until we do something else on Fridays, because Friday is such a good slot. You know? I mean, Friday's such a good slot. Like, immediately, it wasn't, I think it was like 1 hour after I made this post. We already got people clawing for the 8 p.m. slot. Stardust immediately announced Chaos Cast is relaunched 8 p.m. every Friday. Took the slot immediately. Even added me in it. Added me so I would see it. Other people, and this, I really appreciate this. I really appreciate this. This actually meant a lot to me. I had 2 people reach out to me personally saying, hey, next month, or in a little bit from now, I'm going to actually be starting a debate show. I was scheduling this in advance. I want you to let you know this. I'm not gonna touch the Friday slot because I know that's been your thing for 2 years. You this is like you've been a huge inspiration and shit. And yeah, so I'm going to be doing it in a month. I was planning this beforehand. I'm letting you know this so you don't think I'm trying to like just feast off the grave of your show. I had 2 people reach out to me and do that like within 20 minutes of me posting this. I'm not gonna say who those people are, but like that meant a lot to me. It did, because like it meant that, you know, I guess they viewed my show with some respect, and that the collabs that we've done together through all this time meant a lot to me. I announced my new panel, which is a different day at a different time, not a debate show, and it's getting shit for it, and I'm getting shit for it. Well, really? Can I see it, Frames? But yeah, I should give it a grace period.